Welcome on in, guys. Three bold takes again, and continuing on from our other videos. There's only two people on your screen because Quinn's out buying a house. Congratulations! Round of applause, really quick. We will miss him greatly while he is away, but we will eagerly wait his return. Before we get into this video, guys, we are sponsored by SeatGeek now. Use our code 3boldtakes for $20 off your first purchase. We want to help you guys out. You guys help us out. If you're buying tickets to the big game, concert, whatever it is, use SeatGeek and be sure to use our code 3boldtakes. Now, this game is a very interesting under the radar type game, I believe, because Iowa State is sneakily ranked 11th in the country. And this is something that even snuck up on Chase whenever I mentioned it and wanted to do this game, because it's like, what? After what they did last year, it's like, how? How are they ranked 11th? How did they get here? Well, they're 5-0, 2-0 in the conference. All right, best wins are against Iowa by 1 point. They beat Houston 20-0 and then Baylor 43-21. When you look at the other side, West Virginia, who is only a 3-point underdog at home to a top 15 team, almost borderline top 10 team, they're also 2-0 in the Big 12. Like, they're still in the Big 12 conference race here at atop the leaderboard. They beat Oklahoma State last week, 38-14. They beat Kansas the week prior, 32-28. Their only loss is a 4-point loss to Pitt, who's ranked at the top 25. And then a loss to Penn State. That was week 1. That was a tough, hard-fought game as well. Penn State eventually pulled away. So Iowa State's a 3-point favorite. Over-under is 51.5. Chase, I'm dying to hear your thoughts on this game because I know, how we feel about Neil Brown and West Virginia.
So this one's a fun one for me. The Cyclones, again, like Freddie mentioned, it's a crazy game to jump into. They're a fringe top 10 team. They're doing really big things this season. But when you look at their schedule, they're 5-0, but are they really 5-0? Like, the best team is Iowa, who just got like a 30+ bomb on them by Ohio State. Iowa, we know, isn't a great offensive team. If your best win is Iowa, you need to look a little closer at that schedule and see who they've beaten. Baylor, Houston, and Arkansas State are all on the same level, in my opinion. Arkansas State's more of the group of five, but Houston and Baylor, they're still finding their Baylor. Don't get me started on Baylor, but Dave Aranda does not need to be there anymore. I love him to death. I thought he was a great defense coordinator, but he's not a head coach. And Houston, they're still trying to find their footing in the Big 12. So it's a little, they're trying to work those things out. So congrats on being 5-0, but are they a true top 12 team in the nation, nearly top 10 team in the nation? Let's look at the other side of the ball. West Virginia plays better offensively on the road. They have 2 games, 34+ points on the road, 1 loss, 1 win, of course, the one against Oklahoma State. But they do decent at home. They played Penn State on the college game day, first weekend of the year. Pat McAfee, if you don't remember, the electric atmosphere. And again, Freddie mentioned in our last video, forget who we just did, Ole Miss LSU, how one of the scores were kind of deceiving. This Penn State game from West Virginia is kind of deceiving. They do a wonderful job of scoring late touchdowns to make that lead look huge. Penn State, I think, was around like the low 20s and then scored a late touchdown and so to really extend this lead with like 5 or 6 minutes to go. So don't let that go. They got beat by Penn State. They got beat, but I don't think it was that handedly. Let's just put it that way. I really like West Virginia this game. You're at home. You're in Morgantown. I think it's going to be a huge game for the Mountaineers. And then the Cyclones coming into town, you're going to be tested because I think the Mountaineers have a great defense. I think they're stingy. I think they're gritty. I'm going to go West Virginia here. I'm going to call the upset. I think this is a really fun game to show why the AP poll sucks. I think Iowa State is
Here we
I
go
think a
again.
top 25 team, but a top 12 team. I'm just not seeing it. And I'm getting who was it who got upset early in the year besides Alabama Vandy that I'm thinking of? Oh, the Texas A&M Missouri game. I think it's kind of like that game where the rankings are going to misconstrue some guys. I think West Virginia is a fringe top 25 team, and I think Iowa State's a little too high right now. I think they're going to come back down to earth. Give me the Mountaineers in this one, Freddie.
Man, dude. So when you look at the ESPN matchup predictor of this game, this is the type of percentage that you would normally see in a game that is between two top five teams. If I'm being honest with you, the Ohio State was a 65% chance to win. This one is a 55% chance for Iowa State, 45 for West Virginia. So as you can see here, based upon the analytics that ESPN kind of puts out, they're kind of anticipating this being a much better game than the Ohio State Oregon game. And I think
Yeah.
that speaks volumes to what you just said about Iowa State being a little overhyped. You see a record of 5-0 and a 2-0 in conference play, and you automatically assume, man, they must be doing something right. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think that Iowa game is really what did it, right? Because Iowa was ranked I think they were ranked 12th or 13th when they were beaten by Iowa State. That since brought Iowa State into the top 25 earlier in the year, and they just kept winning, right? Like you can't bump somebody down if they keep winning; they can only go up. And I think that's what's happened with Iowa State, and somehow they find themselves ranked 11th in the country. But listen, I like West Virginia to win this game too, man. This is like as you would call a super dog for me. I don't see how Iowa State is ranked 11th, but I also don't see how they're favored on the road when if you look at their resumes, Iowa State hasn't really been tested besides Iowa, like you mentioned, and look what Ohio State just did to Iowa. Like they're not that great of a football team, and you barely won. Baylor's horrible. Houston's horrible. Arkansas State is horrible. And then the first game of the year, man, I have to even click on their logo to even know who it is, but it's the North Dakota, not North Dakota State, but North Dakota, and they won 21-3. So, man, I got West Virginia winning this game, and I think they win by 7 points. Like I think if you look at the spread wise, I think it should be the opposite way for the game. I really, really do.
Well, when this is another cool fact I actually just saw. Iowa State is looking to get to 6-0, Freddie, for the first time since guess what year?
COVID.
Brother, come on. Since 1938. So, can Iowa State get to 6-0? That's a huge, huge piece of this weekend. So they kind of crumbled, they fold in this situation. So that's actually kind of cool. Since 1938, Iowa State has not started 6-0. So they're trying this weekend in Morgantown. That's going to be an interesting.
It ain't happening in 2024. It's not. Well, with that being said, guys, that has been kind of our prediction for Iowa State and West Virginia. As we mentioned, we are sponsored by SeatGeeks. Use our code 3BoldTake, save $20 off your first purchase. Link is in the description to make it easy for you. If you click the link, you don't even have to put in the code. It'll automatically do that for you. So thanks for watching. We will see you guys next week. And that's been kind of the last prediction here for a week. Is it 7 already? Is that right?
Dude, it flies by when you get in the middle of it.
My goodness. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see you again next week for week 8. Holy cow.
Okay.